rare and balanced view on politics in today's world. Based on facts, born of rationality, common sense, and logic, providing context on today's events. This is American Perspective with Rick Thomas.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to American Perspective. I am your host, Rick. Goodness gracious sakes alive. Well, welcome back. It's a new week. It is Monday night, and apparently the Democrat women, yes, all of those wonderful, exciting leaders, descended upon Munich, Germany for some sort of a security conference. Like security and foreign policy and so on and so forth. And, well, the Democrats brought their best. That is to say, the worst for the rest of us. I got some clips that, oh my gosh, you can't even imagine. Well, maybe you can. Anyway, we'll get into that in just a few minutes, but first, let's go ahead and have the NJY Youth Camps Girls Band to perform the Pledge of Allegiance. They're tuning up their instruments right now. They're getting things going in the green room, and let's go ahead and get that going. So if you are of mine, please stand, remove your hat if you're wearing one like me. Place your hand over your heart and follow along with the NJY Girls or Youth Camp Girls Band. I can never get this one right. Anyway, as they recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah!
And I thank you, young ladies, for that wonderful rendition of the pledge. If you would like to hear your rendition of the pledge played here on the program, all you need to do is record yourself reciting or performing the pledge in your style. Take that audio file, video file, whatever kind of file, and attach it to an email. Once you do, send it off to me. Send it to fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.com. That is fans, F-A-N-S, at American Perspective. Did I say .com? I meant .online. .online is where it needs to go. I've lost my caption, closed captioning there for a minute. Anyway, as I was saying, .online, that's fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. No, I do not have a .com at that address. Because if you go to AmericanPerspective.com, I don't think it's available, and don't get sucked into the vortex. So anyway, if you happen to record it on your phone, you can use the share option. That's S-H-A-R-E, share option. And you'll be able to send it off to me to fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. Yeah. See, my unofficial producers are already, like, screaming at me. Oh, you said .com, not .online. Anyway, I've even got 3 Chevy even getting involved. He's like, dot something or other. Yeah. And then, of course, there's Nana. That's my unofficial producer, always hitting me up on Saturdays to make sure that I do on this day in American history. And she keeps me straight. She's also the math whiz. There was one night that I didn't need her because my math was mathing. Anyway, she posted what's her face. You guys are great. Anyway, let's go ahead and get on to tonight's headline sponsor before we get too far off the beaten path here. Well, I'm wearing one of their wonderful shirts. That's right. I'm wearing one of their fantastic men's cotton polo. You can get yours at theflagshirt.com. That's theflagshirt.com, where you can check out all the men's, women's, kids, made in the USA, accessories, all kinds of stuff in the wonderful red, white, and blue. No, they're not all colored, only red, white, and blue. They have other colors, I imagine, but there's logos and things like that. They highlight America, okay? So just go and check them out. Go and check out theflagshirt.com. And check out, especially their America's 250th anniversary collection that they got going on. And once you do that, man, if you order $75 or more of their gear, they will give you free shipping. That's right. If you order $75 or more of their product, they will provide you with free shipping. But I know not everybody can do that. For whatever reason, maybe you only want one thing or two things, or whatever you are buying doesn't add up to $75. I get it. That being said, all you need to do is head on over to flagshirt.americanperspective.online. That's flagshirt.americanperspective.online. You will be presented with a coupon code that you can copy and paste into the promo code box at checkout at theflagshirt.com, and you will receive $5 off your order at theflagshirt.com. Go to flagshirt.americanperspective.online, where you will be presented with that coupon code. Copy and paste the promo code box into the checkout, the promo code box at checkout at theflagshirt.com, and get $5 off your order on American Perspective. Go to theflagshirt.com and get yourself patriotized. All right. Anyway, all right. Well, before I get into the women making fools of themselves, and believe me, I could be playing the song Dumbass the entire show, and it would pretty much sum everything up. But we're going to start off just first with, well, it didn't take long. Nope, really did not take long. New York City. At least that's the claim. Take a listen to this.
Here is Atlantic. We are hearing Azan. Come here.
I think we take pretty off Texas stuff.
Yeah. I never thought in my life he's gonna be here hearing this in the middle of New York. Good.
All right, so it started back over. I wanted you to catch the first part of that. For those of you that don't know, that is the Islamic call to prayer. And it occurred in an American city for the first time that I know of. That is reportedly New York City. The Islamic call for prayer being lit off in New York City. Now, not that I really care, okay? I mean, let's just put it this way. I'm telling you straight up, Sharia law has no way that it can be correlated, communicated, connected with, cover up, none of it with the Constitution of the United States, okay? So that Islamic call to prayer is, they were kind of shocked about that, the people that posted the video. Well, here's the thing, though. Supposedly there is a city ordinance against doing things like that. So we'll have to see if Zoran Mamdani will actually do anything about it, because, again, like I said, supposedly New York City has a city ordinance. I think it's like 313 or something like that. But anyway, yeah, it's a sad day, believe me, in America to hear that. I mean, Yeah. Anyway, toward that same front, the Trump admin has launched an investigation into Texas's Muslim-only community project. Now, here's the thing, okay? Again, all I'm going to say is this, all right? All I'm going to say is this. If you are defending this Muslim-only community project, then you must also defend, wait for it, a whites-only community project, or a blacks-only community project, or an Asians-only community project, or a Buddhist-only community project, or a Christian-only community project, or a pedophile-only community project. Do you see where I'm going with this? See, one thing that is, and believe me, back in the day, there used to be blacks-only areas, whites-only areas. This is nuts, okay? You should not have, under our rules, you should not have the ability to have these congregations. Now, people will congregate naturally, but they cannot legally stop somebody of the outside of the group to come in and take and not buy, prevent them from buying property or whatever. So apparently the Department of Housing and Urban Development is investigating entities involved in the planned Muslim housing development in Texas because of concerns that the initiative may have engaged in discrimination based on religion and nationality, the department said on the 13th in a statement. HUD's probe is going to look into the Meadow Project, formerly called EPIC City, or the East Plano Islamic Center is what EPIC stands for potential violations of the Fair Housing Act, according to the department. See, now this is the thing that I'm trying to tell you, okay? This is what I'm trying to tell you. All right. The Democrats wouldn't cry foul at this, but they damn sure would if it were a Christian only project, or a Baptist only project, or a white only project. See, this is part of the problem with the way we are in America today. You can't do stuff like this. And yet here, that is exactly what they're attempting to do. I don't know if anybody's noticed, but there's been areas like Dearborn, Michigan that have just been flooded with all kinds of Muslims. And they've been posting signs. I'm not saying directly in Dearborn, but there's also sections of New York City, obviously, that are all the same way. They post signs and they say, hey, please don't walk your dog in this community. Well, what if you lived there and you have no other choice? You can't go outside of your apartment because you live in that community. Because Muslims do not believe in pets, dogs in particular, as pets. Because to them, dogs are basically dirty, the lowest of the low, whatever. And I'm sorry, but again, it goes back to this whole idea that people are sitting here saying, "Oh, yeah, we've got to be, tolerant of them." Well, they need to be tolerant of us too. Meaning that if you move in, if you are moving to America, guaranteed you're going to run across somebody who has a dog. You just are. And God forbid, I'm just going to tell you, God forbid you try to do anything, at least to my dog. I guarantee you will reap some repercussions off of that. Try to mess with my horses, too. Anyway, point that I'm making is, you come here, and this is part of the problem. You come here, all right? You come here. You must assimilate into our society, not the other way around. You want to come here to our country and reap the benefits of our country, you will assimilate into our country. End of story. That's just how it works. And if you don't like it, then don't freaking come here. Getting tired of all these people sitting here going, I want to make here look like there because I think there is better than here, but I'm here now because I want to be here, but I want here to look like there because there is better than here. Well, what the hell are you doing here then? What a freaking nightmare. This people just piss me off. Anyway. All right, well, let's get off of this and let's get into the stupids because I need some laughs. All right. Anybody remember Keith Olbermann? Anybody remember him? He's, seriously, he is totally discredited. He is a complete, utter, stupid moron. I mean, even like he is at the bottom of the stupid moron pack in terms of that kind of thing. All right. But he can't be employed. He has his own, I don't know what the hell he's got. I don't know if he's got, I don't know. I don't know where he gets his money. I don't know how he's making money. But anyway, he apparently decided to take on, a guy that I've been following. I've actually been following him on Facebook. His name is Chris Martz. Martz, and he's on his handle on X is Chris Martz WX. Now, here's the thing I need to tell you about Chris. Chris is 23 years old. He is a graduate of one of the top meteorological schools in the country. And the reason why Chris is making a name for himself is because he is constantly posting things that blow up the narrative about the climate crisis. End of story. All right. So anyway, on X, there was a post by Wide Awake Media, who they're not really all that wide awake, as far as I can tell. Anyway, they posted that particular post, or that particular account posted a video that was done by Al Gore. Now, Al Gore, of course, being the, inventor of the internet, bullshit, and the, inventor of the climate crisis, he's in the video and he's saying this climate crisis is continuing to get worse, or continuing to get much worse. Sorry, I got to get it right. Let me restart. The climate crisis is continuing to get much worse. Mother Nature is staging an intervention. We don't have much time left to wake up and start taking action. Our civilization is at stake. Well, Chris Martz posted, quote posted that. And he goes, Al Gore has been saying this for 40 years. Which is one of Chris Martz's points that he keeps making, is that, sea levels haven't risen significantly across the world or anything else in the last 40 years. But anyway, I digress. He says, Al Gore has been saying this for 40 years. It's time to give up the grift, Grandpa. And Keith Olbermann enters the chat. Oh, Keith, you are way out of your effing league here, buddy. Wow. So Keith posts or comments to Chris and says, so let's see. You do the weather and you think you're an expert on how the atmosphere changes over thousands of years or dozens? You're an imbecile. STFU, for those of you who are not smart, that says shut the F up, child. And remember that if we listen to you, when you're grandpa, you'll get to watch your grandchildren suffocate. Now, Chris could have just dismissed Mr. Olbermann for the idiot that he is. He could have just been like, you know what? That guy's a complete moron. His coverage or whatever is not all that great. You know, I don't really have the time to respond to this moron. I've had that conversation with myself multiple times. And if you ask Mrs. Whiskey, conversation usually ends up with, F it. And that's exactly what Chris did, because Chris comes back and goes, Keith, I am a meteorologist. That means I study the atmosphere. We don't just point at a green screen and say it's going to rain. You, on the other hand, are a washed up, irrelevant sports journalist, and he put it in quotes, who has been fired from nearly every job you ever had because of your unprofessionalism. I am a young, vibrant 23-year-old and have my whole life ahead of me. You, on the other hand, are a 67-year-old, single, childless, miserable old man that nobody wants to be around and nobody will remember 50 years from now. Gee, Chris, tell us how you really feel. Now, all of that being said, of course, that is absolutely 100% true. Oh, Keith Olbermann decided to jump into the wrong sandbox, and he just got peed on. Speaking of which, I told you about Trump's endangerment finding repeal. You remember that Obama era thing that, made so much noise back during the Obama era that has done nothing but destroy our economy in terms of the Green New Deal and all this other stuff and everything else, right? Well, climate and energy experts are now all praising the fact that Donald Trump did this. The American Energy Institute CEO Jason Isaac told the Center Square that repealing the endangerment finding for mobile sources is a necessary first step toward correcting course, restoring the Clean Air Act to its proper role, and putting reliable, affordable energy back at the center of federal policy. Isaac continued and told the Center Square, President Obama once said that under his energy policies, electricity prices would necessarily skyrocket. He goes, for many American families and small businesses, that prediction proved accurate. The endangerment finding became the legal regime behind regulations that raised energy costs, distorted markets, and made affordability an afterthought. Yeah. The president of the Committee for a Constructive Tomorrow, Craig Rocker, said in a statement to the Center Square that at its core, the endangerment finding defies basic science and common sense. Rucker said, CO2, the odorless, colorless gas you just exhaled, is essential to life. It's what plants rely on for photosynthesis to produce oxygen and food. We are all made of carbon, Rucker stated, thus labeling CO2 a pollutant is absurd, akin to declaring water vapor a threat. Rucker continued and said a rigorous cost-benefit analysis reveals the folly, trillions in economic costs from climate mandates that yield no meaningful environmental benefits, stifle innovation, jobs, and energy independence, and distract from genuine environmental policies. Here's another one. Heartland Institute James Taylor told them the same thing. CO2 is the gift of life for planet Earth, not a pollutant or a threat to public health and welfare. One other expert told the Center Square of the freedom rescinding the endangerment finding will bring to the auto industry. President of Truth and Energy and Climate, Frank Lazy, said in a statement to the Center Square that the EPA's move is a clear win for buyers everywhere. This action liberates the auto industry from burdensome emission restrictions and money-losing electric vehicle mandates, allowing manufacturers to build the cars and trucks consumers truly want. President Trump deserves strong applause for this decisive step, and I could go on and on and on. There are so many of them that are just piling on. There's at least 3 more that I'm not even going to read that have piled on. So, yep. There we go. There we go. And as 3 Chevy, who is one of the smartest of my Whiskey Warrior P1s, points out, any attempt and anything that we do to over here is completely offset by the things that China and India, and I'm going to add in Russia, are doing. All 3 are, it's like China, India, USA, and Russia. There you go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So, there you are. Anyway. All right. Well, before I get into these lovely ladies of the left who decided to descend upon frickin' Munich, Germany, let's get to a real quick ad spot. So this morning I woke up and I had to have my coffee. And if you still haven't tried 1775 coffee, now is your shot. The starter kit just dropped. There's a small number of units available. In each unit, you're getting the bold dark roast that hits hard, the smooth medium roast, as well as the Vitality mushroom coffee for clean energy and laser focus with no crash. All of these coffees are single origin, small batch, toxin-free, and mold-free. Plus, you'll also be getting a gold spoon clip because freedom isn't scooped with plastic. A frother that is strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's opinions. Yeah. Anyway, enough on her. And you'll also be getting a black 1775 tumbler. It's $170 worth of coffee and gear, yours for just the low price of $99. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble and wondering if it's actually worth it. Spoiler alert, it is. Go to the numbers, 1775, the word coffee, all of that together. So 1775coffee.com/studio, STUDIO, and grab your starter kit before they disappear. Go to 1775coffee/studio and grab your starter kit today. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something, just like Rumble does. Go to 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit. That starter kit has coffee so strong you are required to sign a pre-imbibement agreement to have it. That's according to my Whiskey Warrior G. Go to 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit today. All right. So, yes, we have the smartest of the smart. No, we don't. We have the dumbest of the dumb. Oh, my gosh. So they all descended, apparently, on this, I don't know, some sort of a thing in Munich. It's a security conference, foreign policy conference, whatever. Anyway, the very first up, and believe me, by this, I'm just basically saying, yeah. Oops, wrong one. Sorry.
What are you doing, you moron?
There we go. Yeah. AOC. That's right. AOC. Yeah. Oh, that's all I have to say. Anyway, she is obviously vying or trying to, I don't know, maybe gain a little bit of worldly exposure for a potential run in 2028 for the presidency, or maybe a run for higher office, like challenging Chuck E. Schumer for his Senate seat in New York. Well, regardless of which way she goes, I don't think she's going to do very well if she keeps answering questions like this. Take a listen.
would and should the U.S. actually commit U.S. troops to defend Taiwan if China were to move?
I think that this is such a, I think that this is of course a very longstanding policy of the United States. And I think what we are hoping for is that we want to make sure that we never get to that point. And we want to make sure that we are moving in all of our economic research and our global positions to avoid any such confrontation and for that question to even arise.
Can somebody tell me what the hell she just said? Look, I know that I'm not exactly the greatest speaker in the world. I mean, I do come on to this show. I talk in a mic, talk in front of a camera, talk to all of you. Some of you watch live. Some of you watch the videos later. I don't bother cutting the videos because, frankly, I don't have time. And whatever my mistakes are, those are my mistakes. And there are times when I do what is called a verbal pause using and ums and those kinds of things. But one thing I want to point out to you is that when you run across somebody who is incredibly out of their element, all right, they're going to sit there and try to come up with an answer. And as they're coming up with the answer, well, they'll do a couple of things. One of which is they'll sit there and they'll pause, verbally pause, try and think about things. They might attempt to respond with a question rather than answering it, maybe asking for some clarifying information. Now, that doesn't necessarily always mean that the individual is attempting to come up with the answer or an answer. Because sometimes asking qualifying questions is helps to be able to refine the answer into the most appropriate place. But then we have the AOC taking advice from Kamala Harris. Yes, she actually, I think, did take some advice from Kamala Harris. And this is the other thing that happens, by the way. This is the other thing that happens whenever you have somebody who is completely out of their element or completely grasping at straws, let's say, for an answer. Let's take a listen.
I think what we identify is that in a rules-based order, hypocrisy is vulnerability. And so I think what we are seeking is a return to a rules-based order that eliminates the hypocrisies around when too often in the West we look the other way for inconvenient populations to act out these paradoxes.
Yeah. Once again, what the hell was she talking about? Now, I showed that to you in two separate clips, but in the reality of it is she actually started with the first one and then went to the second one almost immediately. Yeah. So, right. She gave 20 seconds of sputtering before answering in a pseudo-intellectual fashion, which wasn't really all that intellectual for it. Well, let's move on from like foreign policy, because let's be honest, she doesn't sit on any foreign services committee. She's not well versed in foreign policy. So I could probably give her a little bit of leeway for that. But this one is basically right up her alley, per se, her socialist, Democrat, Marxist alley. And let's just see what she does here at all.
So when you run for president, are you going to impose a wealth tax or a billionaire's tax?
I don't think that I don't think that anyone, and that we don't have to wait for any one president to impose a wealth tax. I think that it needs to be done expeditiously.
Notice she didn't bat down the idea of running for president there. I mean, she just sort of allowed the question to be asked. Maybe. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. If she's this bad answering questions on just a friendly stage, because again, she actually kind of thinks that in her element there, because obviously these people believe that Europeans are much more left than we are, and she's in her element over there. So there we go. If she's, going to be saying all of this stuff, saying more of this stuff, then, yeah, we'll have to kind of see what the hell happens with that. Well, as usual, as per usual, the mainstream media, especially Bloomberg News, which is a leftist propagandist outlet, immediately jumped on and said, oh my God, that was bad. We got to kind of clean it up. And by that, I mean this. As an introduction, and I'm reading from a Red State article here, as an introduction, they did not help their own cause by admitting that AOC was basically out of her depth from the start. So the two writers, Nick Wadhams, yeah, Wadhams, Wadhams, and Maria Paula Torres, God, 4 names, Maria Paula Mijares Torres, admitted that AOC is, quote, better known for her strong progressive stances than her foreign policy views. Okay. Now, they also point out that she lacks serious international heft since she's not serving on either the Foreign Affairs or the Armed Services Committee. Okay, we'll give her that, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So, here's what else they say. She demanded a foreign policy approach that counters record inequality and looks to undo a world dominated by a handful of elites, a handful of oligarchs that sit in pretend democracies and make backdoor deals with one another. That's what they said. She said. I didn't get that. Anyway. Now, they did mention that, they did mention that, yeah, she did, kind of lock up there when she was asked about it, regarding, very long, standing policy, with you. Yeah. Anyway, that was her. That was my impression of her. Dude, I'm sorry. I can't get over it. Every time I look at her, I immediately think of the character of Donkey on Shrek. I'm sorry. And that's what I hear and see is like this huge smile with these teeth and everything else. I can't unsee it. I'm sorry. I know. It's just, it's anyway. So she continued. Well, here's what they say. They're like, Ocasio-Cortez hesitated because she wanted to be careful about what she was saying. Really? He goes, I wish more politicians would wait to answer instead of rattling off talking points. I think she did rattle off talking points. I'm just saying. Anyway. They continued and they're like, oh, well, there have been many leaders who have said that we will go back, but I think we have to recognize that we are in a new time. Many of us are here to say, we are here, we are ready for the next chapter, not to have the world turn to isolation, but to deepen our partnership on greater and increased commitment to the integrity of our values. That response sustained applause from the crowd. And she managed to say nothing, and yet she got applause. And see, this is part of the problem with our society today. She's planning on running for president, especially in 2028. Oh, and she actually gets the nomination. Oh, could you imagine? Either one. I really don't care whether it's Ron DeSantis or J.D. Vance. Either one of them would just mop the floor with her ass. Kind of like Donald Trump did with Kamala Harris. Oh, my gosh. Well, I know I've been picking on AOC. Oh, speaking about that, before we move on, let's ask President Predicto whether or not AOC is planning on running for the highest office in the land. What say you, President Predicto?
I think it's totally ridiculous.
Oh, I would agree, President Predicto, having AOC run for president. Oh, I didn't plan that. I didn't do anything. I swear. That was just what came up. I'm serious. Oh, yeah. Okay. Anyway. Oh, it's that would just happen to show up there. I'm telling you, I did not hack that thing. Anyway, well, I don't know if you noticed there were two other people as a part of that panel. One of them was Governor Whitmer from Michigan. Yeah. Well, this answer may have shot down her presidential run, maybe. Yeah, let's just take a listen to what she kind of sort of had to say, being asked something very similar to our friend AOC.
On Ukraine, what does victory look like?
Oh, please, I'd love to hear your answer.
Yeah, it is. The two that I am on the panel with are much more steeped in foreign policy than a governor is. But I do think that Ukraine's independence, keeping their land mass, and having the support of all the allies, I think is the goal from my vantage point. Go ahead, Ambassador. Do a better job.
Well, as you can see there in the photo, you've got the ambassador. I don't know what ambassador, but he's a Trump appointee, a Trump ambassador. And then you have AOC sitting off to Whitmer's left with the panelist host on the right in the red coat. I think Whitmer just pointed out where her weakness is, which is essentially foreign policy. Well, she has a lot of other weaknesses, not just foreign policy, but anyway, why? I just, the question has to be asked. Why would a governor, be traveling to Munich to talk about security, world security, when she doesn't have any foreign policy chops and admits to it on stage? What's the point in her being there? So, by the way, Governor Whitmer has spent approximately $1 million on international travel just in 2025. Traveling to Australia, the UK, Germany, Japan, Singapore, the United Arab Emirates, and Canada. So, yeah. I think, honestly, I think AOC took Governor Whitmer. At least Whitmer admitted, hey, I don't know that much. So, so on and so forth. I mean, AOC was just lost, it seems. Well, we can't forget, because she just won't go away. And I wish she would. I seriously wish she would. She cannot just go away. But the Hildebeest, yes, that's right, Hillary Clinton, Hildebeest, showed up in the Munich Security Conference. She was on a panel called The West-West Divide, What Remains of Common Values. And, well, let's just say she was kind of called on the carpet, sort of literally, by a Czech Republic politician. Oh, boy, let's take a listen to this.
Well, first, I think you really don't like him.
You know, that is absolutely true. But I really, not only do I not like him, I don't like him because of what he's doing to the United States and the world. And I think you should take a hard look at it if you think that there is something good that will come out of it.
Well, what I think Trump is doing in America, I think it is reaction for something for some policies that really went too far from the regular people, too far from reality. So, you know, we saw the cancel culture. We saw the woke revolution. I don't agree with the gender revolution, the climate alarmism.
Which gender? Women having their rights?
Let Peter go on. I think there are two genders. So, but some of us think that there is more than one, or more than two gender. I think there is male and female, and the rest probably is a social construct. So this is something that went too far.
But does that justify selling out the people of Ukraine who are on the front lines dying to save their freedom and their two genders, if that's what you're worried about?
Can I please finish my points? I'm sorry that it makes you nervous. I'm really sorry for that.
It makes me nervous. It makes me very
Yeah, made her nervous. Sorry about that blast at the end. Yeah. Obviously, the Hildebeest doesn't do very well on the stage, the world stage. It really doesn't. Now, of course, you know, what does the whole thing about woke and everything else have to do with selling out Ukraine? I don't think he's selling it. Trump isn't selling out Ukraine. What? Anyway. Yeah. Hillary. Well, she actually went, believe it or not, went and threw her party, her complete party, under the bus when it came to question about immigration while she was on that panel. And you got to kind of wonder. So first of all, you got to understand, anything that the Hildebeest does, she's doing it because she thinks that she's going to gain something out of this. Now, not that she is going to run again, although, you know, there is the possibility that she might. There's always that possibility. But one thing that you need to understand about Bill and Hillary Clinton is that they want to be part of whatever's coming up. I mean, the whole purpose of her being Secretary of State under Obama was to get them back into the political sphere. Now, I guarantee you she is not happy about the fact that the Michelle Obama are in the limelight every single time they turn around. I'm sure that rubs Hildebeest the wrong frickin' way. Okay, I almost can guarantee you that. But you got to wonder, because Rahm Emanuel is seriously considering a run for president. And you've got to wonder why Hillary would all of a sudden break with the party and the party line regarding immigration and say this.
I think we need to call it for what it is. There is a legitimate reason to have a debate about things like migration. It went too far. been disruptive and destabilizing, and it needs to be fixed in a humane way with secure borders that don't torture and kill people.
Huh. Very interesting final statement there. Torture and kill people. Still wondering what that's all about, except there's only one problem. Okay? Why would she break that? Is it possible that she might be looking at a potential run for 2028? Yeah, I don't think so. Is it possible that she's trying to make the Democrats look a little more middle of the road and rational going into the midterms? I don't know. Is it possible that she might be trying to potentially start the path to maybe assist Rahm Emanuel to get in? I don't know. But she has at least recognized that the American people, which her party hasn't recognized any of this, but she at least recognizes that her party is going down the wrong path with the whole immigration thing. Well, then she continues on and she decides to lie. Well, like anything that she says is really the truth, but she goes on and she decides to lie about what is happening or with things that are going on under immigration. Take a listen to this.
More people were deported under my husband and Barack Obama without killing American citizens and without putting children into detention camps than were in the first Trump term or this first year of Trump's second term. So I think it's important to look.
Except there's only one problem, Miss Hilda Beast. Yeah, you remember this image? Right here, right here, which is of the detention camps. That's Obama there. Yeah, the detention camps that were there. And also, by the way, there's children in those cages back there. Or maybe this image of the children in the cages. Yeah. Under Obama. And then, you know, there's this image as well, like of all the detention centers and the cages and everything else. Yeah. And by the way, according to records, there were, let's see, 7 Americans killed, according to records. Yeah, under Obama. So there were at least 7 deaths of American citizens at the hands of the CBP under Obama. There's something more than that. More people were killed, but at least 7 deaths of American citizens under Obama. I think I've seen numbers, and U.S. Abby Girl points it out. She's like, I believe 56 people were killed under Obama. Yeah, in custody. That's correct. But we also have, as well, J.D. Vance decides to step into the chat, and he says, let's see. In the Obama administration, they counted being turned away at the border as a deportation. Person would show up, be sent back, and counted as a deportation. We have to do deportations from the interior of the country because Biden and Harris let them walk in. Number 2, in cities that are not sanctuary cities, the deportation process is orderly and normal, like most law enforcement. In Minneapolis and a few other sanctuary jurisdictions, local jurisdictions, and a few left-wing agitators have decided to wage war on all immigration enforcement officers. They are hoping to add a little chaos, that a little chaos will convince us to give up on immigration enforcement. They are wrong, and JD is right. They, under the Obama administration, there wasn't any sanctuary cities. Cities actually cooperated with ICE under that. But they're not going to do that, even though Trump isn't enforcing anything that's brand new. In fact, Bill Clinton is the one that actually put the current immigration law into effect. That hasn't been changed since Bill Clinton. So it was under Bill Clinton that started this whole thing, and then it's continued throughout George Bush 2 and Obama and Trump 1 and Biden, who didn't enforce anything, and now Trump 2. So none of these laws have actually changed, folks. And yet here she is, the wildebeest, lying through her teeth, talking about the kids in cages when it was under Obama, talking about the separation of families when it was under Obama, talking about American citizens being killed when, under Obama, and so on and so forth. So, once again, she's lying through her teeth. Now, why? The question you have to ask yourself is why? What do you think? President Predicto, do you think that the wildebeest is going to make a possible run, another run for president?
We'll see what happens.
Oh, that doesn't bode well. That doesn't bode well for us here in America. Oh my gosh. She jumped in and did it again. Lord, I tried. Tried again. Oh, Lord. All right. Well, California is going to lose some of their seats because California is losing some of their population. By the way, all of that is being driven by disastrous policies put forth by the Democrat leftist lunatics in charge in California. According to a report, wealthy Californians are moving from the Golden State to Sin City, meaning Las Vegas, Nevada, as they seek to avoid yet another tax hike. The real estate market for Las Vegas, Nevada is seeing an influx of Californians as the state considers, meaning California, considers a one-time 5% fleecing of all of their assets. The prospect of the so-called wealth tax has many Californians looking to move. As such, more than 23% of listings views in Las Vegas markets are coming from Los Angeles, according to a report from Realtor.com. San Jose, California ranks second, accounting for 8% looking. 8% of the listing views in Las Vegas. Riverside, California ranks third with 4% of the views originating from that area. Yeah. So Tanya Jahim, a real estate agent, a luxury real estate agent in Las Vegas, told Realtor.com that she has witnessed a trend of Californians fleeing to her city. There has been a noticeable increase in affluent buyers relocating from California, she remarked. Many of these clients are selling higher-priced homes in coastal markets and bringing significant equity with them, which is what happens here in Washington all the damn time. Anyway, she continues and says, which allows them to purchase luxury properties here, either with large down payments or all cash. The new arrivals are indeed coming with significant buying power. In Los Angeles, a typical home costs $1.03 million. And in San Jose, the typical home price is even higher at $1.2 million. Las Vegas's median listing price is now $465,000, less than half as much as those two California cities. Beyond the relatively cheaper real estate, Californians making the move to Nevada will see a number of other financial benefits, according to Realtors.com's senior economic research analyst, no state income tax, far grading buyer power, upgrade in home size, quality, location that are completely out of reach in California. So, yeah, California's getting hammered. Anyway. All right, folks, that is it for me for this evening. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, head on over to rumble.com, get yourself an account. It is free. And once you are signed up and signed in, be sure to search up the American Perspective channel and hit that green follow button to get notified every time that I go live. Also, too, don't forget to hit those thumbs up, thumbs downs, or in the case of 3 Chevy, thumbs sideways, across all of my platforms, whether it's X, YouTube, Facebook, or, of course, the aforementioned Rumble. We will see you tomorrow night, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on American Perspective. Landon, have a good night. And good night, everybody.